Cha Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtatarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtatarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kao Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivadari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtana Yagya Ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gura Premanande Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarine. Could you please help me with Bhagavatam? Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Where can I see who's watching?
This is playing Kirtan. Do you know that?
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's YouTube. It's just connecting, so you can see on there the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Frank is back. Is there? Twitch, rarely. There's a chat, but I never see anyone. There's one viewer apparently. Facebook. There.
Hare Krishna,
And
Hare Krishna.
you know the thing. So I can check the TikTok questions at the end. If you like.
So, Peter Kirchner immediately has a question. Questions at the end, Prabhu. He's asking, who is that Prabhu? Which Prabhu?
Remain mysterious.
Okay, Shamdai Mataji is there. Rebecca, Hare Krishna. Welcome, Peter Prabhu. Hare Krishna, welcome. Rudra Prakash. Tom Prabhu. Rudra Prakash Prabhu. Hare Krishna. The stalwarts, our nice friends and supporters. Bronwyn Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for nice tagging. Bhupinder Prabhu. Yes, let me scroll some more. Say Hare Krishna. Yvonne Mataji, Ganesh Ganapati, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. Bandikpet, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Lenny Chetty, Hare Krishna. Very nice to see everyone. Hari Priyadasi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Jai Purujit Prabhu is watching us from stairs. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're gonna discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, translated and elaborated upon by our dear spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Third canto, chapter 14. Sorry, Mataji, could you maybe close the door? They want to hear. Okay. It's not cold, it's just because of the sound, you know? Okay.
They're going to listen on the phone.
Okay. Third canto, chapter 14, verse number 48 and 49. We can do. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Savai Mahabhagavato Mahatma Mahanubhavo Mahatam Mahishtaha Pravriddha Bhaktya Hyanubhavita Shaye Niveshya Vaikuntham Imam Vihasyati Saha He Vai certainly Mahabhagavata the topmost devotee Mahatma expanded intelligence Mahanubhavaha expanded influence Mahatam of the great souls Mahishtaha the greatest Pravridha well matured Bhaktya by devotional service He certainly Anubhavita being situated in the Anubhava stage of ecstasy Ashaye in the mind Niveshya entering Vaikuntham in the spiritual sky Imam this material world Vihasyati will quit. Translation: that topmost devotee of the Lord will have expanded intelligence and expanded influence and will be the greatest of the great souls. Due to matured devotional service, he will certainly be situated in transcendental ecstasy and will enter the spiritual sky after quitting this material world. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are three stages of transcendental development in devotional service, which are technically called Sthai Bhav, Anubhav, and Mahabhav. Continual perfect love of Godhead is called Sthai Bhav, and when it is performed in a particular type of transcendental relationship, it is called Anubhav. But the stage of Mahabhav is visible amongst the personal pleasure potential energies of the Lord. It is understood that the grandson of Diti, namely Prahlad Maharaj, would constantly meditate on the Lord and reiterate his activities. Because he would constantly remain in meditation, he would easily transfer himself to the spiritual world after quitting his material body. Such meditation is still more conveniently performed by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord. This is especially recommended in this age of Kali. 49. Alampata Shila Dharo Gunakaro Hrishta Parardhya Vyahito Dukhiteshu Abhuta Shatrur Jagata Shokaharta Naidagikam Tapam Ivodura Jaha Alampata virtues Shila Dharaha qualified Gunakaraha reservoir of all good qualities Hrishtaha jolly Pararidhya by others' happiness Vyathita distressed Dukhiteshu in others' unhappiness Abhuta Shatru without enemies Jagataha of all the universe Shoka Harta destroyer of lamentation Naidaghikam due to the summer sun Tapam distress Iva likened Uduraja the moon. Translation: He will be a virtuously qualified reservoir of all good qualities. He will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, distressed in others' distress, and will have no enemies. He will be a destroyer of the lamentation of all the universes, like the pleasant moon after the summer sun. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaj, the exemplary devotee of the Lord, had all the good qualities humanly possible. Although he was the emperor of this world, he was not profligate. Beginning from his childhood, he was the reservoir of all good qualities. Without enumerating those qualities, it is said here summarily that he was endowed with all good qualities. That is the sign of a pure devotee. The most important characteristic of a pure devotee is that he is not lampata or licentious, and another quality is that he is always eager to mitigate the miseries of suffering humanity. The most obnoxious misery of a living entity is his forgetfulness of Krishna. A pure devotee, therefore, always tries to evoke everyone's Krishna consciousness. This is the panacea for all miseries. Om Magyana.
You don't need to read this first, but it's okay.
Ah.
Also, sorry. We tried to end the class around 9.
Yes. Okay. You read both, huh? Because the bookmark was here. So
Yeah, I apologize. It's okay.
we take from another perspective.
Yeah.
Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, mercifully opens my darkened eyes. With a torchlight of transcendental knowledge, I offer my humble obeisances at His lotus feet. Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
So, very nice shlokas describing the nature of the pure devotee, a pure devotional service, and the activities of the pure devotee. So, there are many things to unpack, but here we can notice, Srila Prabhupada says, there are 3 stages of transcendental development of devotional service, which are technically called Sthayi Bhav, Anubhav, and Mahabhav. Continual perfect love of Godhead is called Sthayi Bhav, and when it is performed in a particular type of transcendental relationship, it is called Anubhav. So again, Srila Prabhupada, of course, he uses the term Bhakti Yoga, he speaks about Bhakti, but he is very careful to translate it into English. Now it's very fashionable to speak about Bhakti. I have Bhakti. Bhakti fest, Bhakti this, Bhakti that. Bhakti. What is this bhakti? Love, yes, love. What is this love? It is performed. So how do you perform love? Right? Okay, yes, love is a feeling, yes, we all feel. But love is performed. See how every word, very significant. Srila Prabhupada or any devotee, when he speaks or writes, there is no redundant material, some obscure wording, word salad. Each word has a very particular meaning and gives a great enlightenment, and you can actually meditate. So here Prabhupada says it is performed. And of course, just few words before he says development of devotional service. So again, we come to the basics. Devotional service. Love is performed. Love is not an abstract, some abstract idea. Love is a very concrete phenomenon, and it is an activity. So we're not impersonalists. Just like we explain to people many times how they are not the body. You are not this body. So we explain to them that you observe the change of the body from childhood to youth to old age. You observe the change of your mind. You don't think the same way as you thought. Did any one of you ever wrote a diary? Did you ever keep a diary? Yeah. So those who keep diary, even if you do it now, you have like a day, so you write about what you did and how you felt about it and what's your thoughts, like that. So you write, then after a couple of months, you scroll back and you're like, what? You read after yourself, what was I thinking, and you're like, you can't recognize. It's like, so stupid, and you see that. So you can see how your mind changed, how your perspective changed and everything. You observe. So when you observe, what does it mean? There is the observer, the process of observation, and the observed, right? There is duality between the subject and the object, like that. So love is the same. There is the lover, there is the beloved, and there is the process of love, which is performed. And what is that love? Love means service, right? Service. If you love someone, you always try to please him, do something nice, protect that person, like that. So there is interaction. So by continuously performing this pure love, that means pure devotional service. Again, pure love. What is pure love? In this material world, our experience, Srila Prabhupada many times gives this example, the closest to pure love is the feeling and activity of a mother towards her child. Why? Because it is almost completely unmotivated, and it can rarely be obstructed by anything, right? Even there are instances when, I don't know, the car kind of, pressed the child, almost killed or something. The mother, 50 kg little Mataji was able to, lift the car and throw it on the side to liberate the baby from under the car or something like. So this adrenaline and this strength, so she found in her body. So the mothers would give their lives in Leningrad, today St. Petersburg, when the Germans were sieging the city. 3 years the city was under siege. They barely had any supply, so there were also cases of cannibalism and like that. So those who survived, they remembered, we were kids, and our mother, she would cut her hand and she would give her blood to us to drink. That's how she was feeding the children, with her own blood. There are cases like that. They had nothing. They were baking breads from sawdust, and little flour, sawdust, whatever they could collect, make some kind of a dough, bake it on fire, whatever. So yeah. So but still there is a little motivation, in the back of the head. Oh, when I get old, the children will take care of me, and like that. So, but yeah, So in the beginning, the child doesn't give anything back to the mother. What the mother gets is, puke on the shoulder and stool in the napkin, screaming, stinking little child, the mother doesn't get anything, but nature arranges in such a way that despite that mostly unpleasant interactions in the beginning, before the child even starts to perceive, like when the child already looks in your eyes and recognizes you, the mother already gets but before that it just it's, so she doesn't get anything, but still she's serving like that. So that's almost pure love. So this is the devotional service means to try to please Krishna, try to interact with Krishna under the guidance of the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, pure devotee who knows how to do it. So he gives us guidance how to perform love towards Krishna. So everyone wants to love, again, natural propensity. We want to serve, we want to love. So we're serving and loving all kinds of things and people within this world, and we're not satisfied. So we simply need to redirect that propensity and invoke that dormant love of Godhead, love of Krishna in our hearts. So also in the morning we were reading about the Vaidhi Bhakti process. So in the beginning, as opposed to our natural so-called instincts, right? It's just like Srila Prabhupada says, you put a young boy and a young girl in a room, naturally the lust is invoked, basically. Let's just say it how it is. But it's a natural instinct. So I think even Rupa Goswami or Jiva Goswami, one of the Goswamis, he praised that if I could be attracted to Krishna in such a way as a young boy is attracted to a young girl or vice versa, very naturally, very spontaneously. You don't need to learn this, right? You don't need to learn sex attraction. It's natural. But it is the perverted basic instinct of the spirit soul to love Krishna. So when we are in the material world, Srila Prabhupada says here, the most obnoxious misery of a living entity is his forgetfulness of Krishna. In the next purport he says. So by forgetting Krishna, our original love is perverted and it turns into lust. So we can simply observe yourself, observe your consciousness, how you're getting naturally attracted to opposite sex or same sex or whatever. That attraction is natural. You walk the street, you see some likable, form, immediately become attracted. So that's for Krishna originally. So we should be attracted like this when we see the deity, spontaneously attracted. But before we come there, we need to purify the lust. We need to redirect that energy again. So that is being done by purification of the senses. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grayam Indrai Sevulmukhe Hijivadav Swayameva Spuratyada. With these material senses, these blunt senses, we cannot perceive the spiritual, transcendental nature of God, of Krishna. That's why he is covered to our eyes. Yogamaya Samavrita, Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. I don't manifest to anyone and everyone. I'm covered. I'm covered by the veil of illusory energy. So just like if someone comes to knock on your door and either you're not in the mood to talk or you know that person is not, you don't want to deal with that person, what you going to do? The doors are shut, he may knock, but you're just not going to open, right? You remain covered by the house. You're in the house is covering you, and that person has no access. So, but when your friend comes, you open the door very nicely, So Krishna is like that. Again, just study your own psyche. It's a reflection of God's psychology also. As the Christians say, as above, so below. Krishna also says the material world is the reflection of the spiritual world. There is a tree with his roots upwards and branches down. So that's the perverted tree reflecting on the reservoir of water, but there is a real tree on the bank. So there is reality, the spiritual world, and then there is reflection, the material world. So upside down reflection, but some things we can observe also as they are. So Krishna, you can approach him, but you have to, he has to agree. He has to agree. So if someone wants to become your friend, what is the best way to please you? He asks your confidential associate, what does Maitreya Prabhu like? How can I please him? What should I avoid to not to displease him? And, Nityananda Prabhu explains, you approach Maitreya Prabhu like this. And when you do that, then Maitreya Prabhu will be pleased. Then he will interact more. Then he will reveal some, secrets, whatever, give instruction. So like that. So the spiritual master is the confidential associate of Krishna. And he gives us this guidance. So we can perform, first of all, it's the Vaidhi Bhakti process, rules and regulations. There is no spontaneity. There is no spontaneity. Waking up, early in the morning, tapasya. Here even the word is mentioned, tapa. Is that tapam? Distress. Sometimes we become distressed when practicing Krishna consciousness. Oh, I have to wake up. Oh, I have to take a shower. Again, I have to take a shower. Oh, I have to go out and distribute books. I have to talk to these stupid karmis. Yeah, you were a stupid karmi yourself, 3 months ago. And now you're complaining you have to talk to them. So lots of distress, but we have to perform our love, our covered love. The spiritual master says, you do like this. When you do like this, that performance will change into a natural sequence. Now we have to perform, fake it till you make it, and the rules and regulations. Do what you don't like to do, don't do what you like to do. This is called tapasya, renunciation. It's also surrender, part of the surrender process. And when that love is then purified and continually performed perfectly, continual perfect love of Godhead is called sthayi bhav. Sthayi bhav, when performed in particular type of transcendental relationship, it's called anubhav. So there are all these relationships. Dhananjaya Prabhu yesterday, he mentioned different rasas, right? You can be a friend of Krishna, you can be a lover of Krishna, you can be a parental figure to Krishna, basically superior. You can be neutral also, but there is not much performance there. You can be servant of Krishna. So that is called anubhav. But here mahabhav is visible amongst the personal pleasure potential energies of the Lord. So maybe you can correct me if I don't want to say something wrong, but I think mahabhav is reserved for Radharani, Lord Chaitanya, like that. So the jiva cannot attain mahabhav. But even these so-called lower stages there is no difference basically because it's absolute. So we don't get into that now. So this constant meditation, the constant meditation on Krishna, on his form, name, pastimes, paraphernalia, associates also, makes one eligible to become liberated from the material entanglement, to terminate the karma cycle, action, reaction. Because when you meditate constantly on Krishna and all these items connected to Krishna, anything connected to Krishna is Krishna. The holy name is Krishna. The pure devotee, in that sense, is also Krishna. It's the servitor Godhead. Krishna is the served Godhead. And the spiritual master or the pure devotee, a pure servant of Krishna, is also Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Every scripture says the pure devotee, spiritual master, he's directly Hari. So in that sense also we can say the devotees are also direct representatives of Krishna, non-different. That's why we have to practice devotional service in this life, in association of devotees. This is how we learn how to serve Krishna, how to approach Krishna nicely. We should not think that, oh, this is some rascal and I have to, iron his dhoti. No, this is how you practice, how you're going to serve Krishna. And Krishna is pleased when his devotees are served. He is not pleased when he's served directly. That's futile. Don't try to approach Krishna directly. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa 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 Dasa, a million times Dasa Anudasa. I am the servant of 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 a pure servant of Krishna. So this is how we please Krishna. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. If you displease Krishna devotees, if you displease the spiritual master, or any sincere devotee, any sincere servant of Krishna, Krishna is not pleased. And if you please the spiritual master, if you please the devotees, then Krishna is pleased, then you feel happy. So this devotee association is also very important, for bhakti. This is bhakti. Bhakti means, just like then we're going to come to the second purport, the qualities of the devotee. Meek and humble, trinadapi sumichena, tarorapi saishnuna, amanina, manadena, kirtaniya, sadahari. How do you want to chant Hare Krishna? Alone, yes, we can do Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. But that chanting needs to be accompanied by relevant inquiry and service. So association of devotees also means relevant inquiry and revealing one's mind and service. I heard that Vishnujan Maharaj, all the new people that were coming to the temple were so impressed how he was humble and he was serving everyone, welcoming everyone very nicely and like that. But it's not just the performance, right? We have to develop this attitude in association of the devotees, because this is how we learn how to perform devotional service. Unmotivated. Oh, what can I get from this rascal? Oh, he has nothing to give me? Okay, screw you, Prabhu. Screw you, Prabhu. Okay, we don't call each other Prabhu for nothing. You call the other devotee Prabhu, but when he calls you Prabhu, you should protest. I'm not the Prabhu. I'm a Dasa. You are the Prabhu. So these good qualities, by chanting Hare Krishna, by purifying the mirror of the heart, by learning that I'm not this body. What is this? What is the connection between the bad qualities? The bodily engrossment, because we identify with the body. That's why we develop bad qualities, because these bad qualities they help us to survive in the material world, right? Greed. It helps you to survive. You hoard, Oh, then you make a stock. So then, what is anger? When you become angry, again, when your sense gratification is obstructed, because you consider yourself to be the body is sustained by, in our own mind, is sustained by sense gratification. If I don't have sense gratification, I'm going to die. So if someone obstructs your sense gratification, you become angry. Lust, anger, right? Then all kinds of envy. Oh, he has something that I don't have. Oh, So again, by identifying with the body, we develop bad qualities. And we see how people deal with each other. Everyone envious, cheating, fighting, But the devotee, because the devotee identifies with the spiritual, he knows I'm a spirit soul. He identifies with Krishna. That's why he understands this body when it is. Of course, we don't want to let the body to be harmed, but when there is a little inconvenience, when the sense gratification doesn't come, a devotee he tolerates, because he understands I'm not this body. Why should I be served? Why should I be pampered? I don't need this. This is not important. When does devotee become angry? The transcendental anger. When his service is obstructed. Right? So that's a good anger, transcendental anger. So here Srila Prabhupada says, and the shloka says also, he will be virtuously qualified, reservoir of all good qualities. There are 26 qualities of a devotee, and a pure devotee, in a pure devotee, these 26 qualities are fully manifested and uncovered, and every devotee has them and develops them more and more. So they are enumerated in the nectar of devotion. So a devotee is expert, he is, humble, all these I forgot. See, because I don't have them, I don't know them. But then it says here, he will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, not alone, and distress in others' distress. Para dukkha dukkhi. When I see someone suffer, I feel pain. Empathy. This is called the simple empathy, but today people are becoming so psychopathic that they enjoy others' suffering, and they suffer when others enjoy. Para dukkha sukhi. When I see others suffer, oh, that's my great pleasure. Psychopath. Right? Zero empathy. He cannot feel the others. What to speak of feeling the animal distress, right? The meatheads, meat eaters. What do they care that the cow is crying or that the animal is trying to, escape and protect? Because animals, they feel, they have emotion, they feel pain. What to speak of them? They are rejoicing in other people. Even that person verbalizes, I suffer. He's like, oh, internally, very satisfied. So this is Kali Yuga. But the devotee is not like that. Even a decent person is not like that. A decent, even he's a materialist or whatever. Sometimes even atheists have some empathy. Because it's, again, kind of natural, right? You have to identify with, you have to relate to other person. Otherwise the society cannot hold together. You have to cooperate, you have to empathize. And in the devotee, this is completely purified. So, but not for any nonsense. Distress, there are different kinds of distress, but Srila Prabhupada says here in his purport, the most obnoxious, such a strong word Prabhupada is using, the most obnoxious misery of a living entity is his forgetfulness of Krishna. A pure devotee, therefore, always tries to evoke everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is the panacea of all miseries. So we are in the material world full of miseries. The body gives us miseries, the mind gives miseries, others give miseries, the demigods give miseries, there is pestilence, war, earthquakes, this, that, all kinds of distress. But the real distress is the cycle of birth and death. Birth, old age, disease, death, birth, old age, disease, death, birth, death, old age, disease, samsara. That is the real problem. If you do not solve this problem, the root cause, the root problem, then all these other problems, they will eternally come back to you. Eternally you will have to deal with all kinds of rubbish. So a devotee understands this conclusion. I'm not the body, I'm a spirit soul, and my real problem is the cycle of birth and death. Not this little pain here, someone insulted me, or this or that. This is not the problem. That's why a devotee can tolerate. Because he understands this is insignificant. Whatever. It's okay. But the non-devotee, these petty things make him go nuts. But the real problem, he doesn't even, it's completely out beyond, above his head. The real problem, he's unable to perceive because he's around, the body. So everything connected to the bodily. So, constant meditation which delivers one from the material entanglement. What is that? Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajat tyante kalevaram. At the time of death, whatever you think, whatever is your consciousness at the time of death, that state of existence you will get into in your next life. It may be material life, so you get another body. If you think of your dog while dying, you get a nice dog body. But if you think of Krishna, your next life, so-called next, because it's eternal, but you will be immediately transferred to where Krishna is. Actually, first you take your birth somewhere where Krishna is having his pastimes, still in the material universe. It's called, how it's called? Bhauma Lila, where Krishna is his Bhauma Lila. And then you actually go to the spiritual world. But it's no different. You're already with Krishna. So, so that's that. So in this Kali Yuga, yesterday was Shigor Purnim, the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya gave us this chanting process, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Very simple, very easy. Chant Hare Krishna, serve the spiritual master, try to evoke everyone's Krishna consciousness by preaching whatever you have understood. Simply, if you chant Hare Krishna, you come to someone else, you say, please chant Hare Krishna. That's preaching. That's perfect. Perfect preaching. Of course, you can deepen your understanding and explain more scientifically. But even a child can preach, Prabhupada says. So you practice yourself, you practice what you preach what you practice what you preach. Think of Krishna always and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So, if there is any questions.
I have a question. Thank you for the class. So you were talking about the, you were emphasizing, especially more towards the beginning, about the eternity of the relationship between the soul and Krishna, and how it's not gained. There was a nice point about the natural attraction. So that's something that's innate within all of us. But it's not gained in the same way that, because of course, like if you get money in the material world, like you never had money, let's say, in this life. So you work to get it, but when you get it, you never had it before. So Krishna consciousness, it appears that you're getting the thing, because you still have to work, like you still have to do the regulative principles. So it appears that you are actually gaining something, but it's something that's actually there already. So, but why? Can you just maybe give some your realizations on why this topic of why it's never gained from an external source, as that shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, why that is important?
Okay, I will try to answer like this, that again we can look at it from different perspectives. So why is it important that it's not gained? So I will give two reasons. The first reason is that if you understand this, then you don't need to see Krishna consciousness as something you need to do extra.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand that this is everything already there, just like we tell people, you don't need to change anything basically. Of course, we should give up sinful activities like that, but work is there, you work, you already work, you have to work, you have to eat, you're already cooking, you're already eating, you're already having relationships, you're already active in this way and that way, you already think, you already dance, you already sing, you already have, sex life, everything you already are doing. So it's not now that you stop anything or you do extra this, but you simply switch, you simply change. So this aspect of this innate capacity or innate, this what we call dharma, right? It cannot be separated from you. So this may be very helpful in practicing Krishna consciousness. When we understand that I'm not doing anything unnatural or extra or there is no imposition. I'm simply transforming. I'm simply, like Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion, you just turn on this one switch. You put Krishna. Everything is zero. Your work is zero. Your family is zero. Your beauty, zero. Your intelligence, zero. Your money, zero. Everything, zero, zero, zero. Zero, 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 zero. You put 1 million zero. What's the result? Zero. But the Krishna is the one. So you put one in front. and then you have 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 1 million. So this is very nice. It's very nice philosophy, very nice truth actually, to realize that I don't need to actually, it's already, I'm already perfect, but that perfection of any activity, of anything, simply needs to be discovered. I like this word, the self-discovery. Now we discovered, so everything is going on, but we're covered by the body, by the material senses. You know, there is time, karma, the gunas. So with the spirit soul is active in its own way, which is eternal, and ultimately it is service. That's the dharma. Everything is service, and because in the spiritual world, when you perform the service, that's how you get pleasure. So we also here trying to perform service to get pleasure, but the service is imperfect, then pleasure doesn't come, right? But simply by this understanding that it is already innate, this is who you are, you just need to put this one in front, or turn that switch, or just bring Krishna, you know, just change your consciousness, work for Krishna, eat for Krishna, cook for Krishna, have kids for Krishna, have family for Krishna, travel for Krishna, speak for Krishna, dance for Krishna, chant for Krishna. Yeah, and that's why also can do it forever, basically. When one is sincere and catches that momentum, you can go on your whole life in Krishna consciousness. Whereas when you need to bring something external, so you may lose it or forget it, or you know. So yeah. So that would be one aspect. Then another aspect is that there are many of these rascals who say that I'm going to teach you the higher. Right? So let's just mention that one more time. Because here also, for example, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says about these bhavas, right? Sthai bhav, anubhav, spontaneous, you know, Raganuga. Now we're Bhakti.
Vaidhi.
Vaidhi Bhakti. Oh, rules and regulations, that's for losers, you know. Come to me, Prabhu. This is your A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He simply gave you the ABC. He simply gave the basics. I'm going to give you higher. There is no higher. Anyone can give you anything higher. What Srila Prabhupada gave is what you need to, again, purify and discover that which is already there. And then the higher comes on its own. And you simply follow and hear what Srila Prabhupada, there is, even Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion, the Vrajabasis, right? The inhabitants of Vrindavan, those who are in the Raga Bhakti. Prabhupada says, there is nothing they can learn from anyone else about how to love Krishna or how to serve Krishna. So no one can teach you to be spontaneous. This is already such a stupid idea. Like you bring an introvert to a party, you know, a person who is socially anxious, awkward, and you tell him, okay, now jump on the table and dance and be spontaneous. Or you show him, this is how you do it. You know, he cannot. Well, he can imitate a little bit, but he's going to feel uncomfortable. You cannot teach anyone to be spontaneous or to be, you know, ecstatic. It's not by imitation. You cannot imitate. I mean, you can imitate for, you know, for nonsense purpose, but so this is everything. Srila Prabhupada says, you read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, that's like a university. But Prabhupada says, my books, everything what you need. So if you hear, practice, chant Hare Krishna, again, chant Hare Krishna, do service, preach. Anyway, any progress is made simply by the mercy of the spiritual master. You cannot, there is no button that I'm going to now push this button and I'm going to become self-realized. So, Guru Krishna Kripaya Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. You have to, you have to set your train of spiritual life on these two tracks, Guru and Krishna. We have no power of our own, so like that. Again, if we understand it's already there, we don't need to get cheated like this, that I'm going to teach you something. You don't need to learn anything, actually. You just need to learn how to act properly. That you learn from the spiritual master, and then you act like that. Then this Everything is manifested from within. Krishna manifests.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You might just want to answer the questions on Facebook first because they're more likely to go if they're not engaged.
Okay.
So, Peter Krishner is asking how to be cultivating Lampata feature in us. Sorry, I need to.
Not envious.
Lampata feature in us.
He's not Lampata.
Or licentious. I mean, she's like desirous of sensual.
Yeah, he is not Lampata or licentious. Licentious means?
Like desirous of sense gratification. He's like wants to enjoy.
Yeah. So, again, Prabhupada, if you see Srila Prabhupada, how he's preaching, from 1966 to 1977, for 11 years of his manifested pastimes, what does he speak all the time? Again and again and again and again and again. You are not this body, you are not this body, I'm not this body, you are not this body, these senses are not your senses. Constantly repeating this. So, of course, there are pushes, the body is pushing, but above the senses, above the dead matter is the mind, above the mind is intelligence. So we purify our intelligence by hearing, and we control our mind by the intelligence. I feel this push, but why should I now run to fulfill that push? I'm not this body. So, of course, it doesn't mean that now you stop eating or anything, but and again, okay, the push is there, but let me do it nicely for Krishna. Engage that push in Krishna's service. And so it's a gradual process. So, but simply starts with this understanding. Well, if I'm not this body, okay, it makes sense. Yes. If I'm not, why should I desire sense gratification for the sake of it? So we need to gratify the senses. That's okay. That's why there is prasadam for the tongue. That's why there is incense and flowers for the nose. That's why there are beads for the skin, for the touch. That's why there are forms of Krishna for the eyes. That's why there is bhajan for the ears. So you engage your senses. You gratify your senses in Krishna consciousness. That sense gratification is devotional service, actually. That's the real sense gratification. You satisfy Krishna's service by chanting his name, by offering him pleasurable paraphernalia, and then you enjoy. Satisfy your mind with nice philosophy, your argumentative propensity. You can argue with the devotees. Sometimes we challenge each other, right? It's just like smashing each other, and so fun. Intellectually challenging, everything can be dovetailed and satisfied. So I hope that answers the question.
Now, Shamdai Mataji has a question also. Is knowledge spiritual or material?
Well, there is material knowledge and there is spiritual knowledge. Ultimately, knowledge is spiritual, just like ultimately everything is spiritual. Matter actually means forgetfulness of Krishna, just like in the temple. Here everything seems to be material, right? The clay mridanga, the laptop, Prabhu, there is a camera here, this Sputnik, the light, all kinds of cloths, food is there in the kitchen. Everything appears to be, it's like, there's not electric guitar. The neighbor in the next house can also have electric guitar. He also has food. He also has stuff. But because here everything is used in Krishna's service and everything reminds devotees of Krishna, that's why here everything is spiritual. This is Vaikuntha. And because the neighbor is using things for his material sense gratification, forgetful of Krishna, that is matter. So similarly, knowledge. There is knowledge about the phenomenal world, physics, chemistry, how stuff works. It's described in the Vedas also. All kinds of knowledge are in the Vedas. But that knowledge is supposed to help you to realize Krishna. Ultimately, Krishna says by all the Vedas, all the knowledge should converge to help one understand Krishna. So through so-called material knowledge, you can appreciate Krishna's energy, how it works, how they work Krishna's energies, Through understanding material nature, you can be so in such an awe and reverence towards Krishna. Even the scientists, they are turning like the deeper they go into atom, the deeper they go into the cell. Just the whole universe is expanding in front of them. They're like completely bewildered. They just drop everything in this. This is impossible. There must be God. Otherwise, makes no sense. Right? So through material knowledge, you come to this conclusion that you have to just give up this, analysis and just trying to come to the final. There is no final. It's like a fractal. You just go, 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 go. So yeah. So knowledge, yeah, you don't need, there doesn't need to be that division, but yeah, it's both, material and spiritual, but ultimately everything is spiritual.
Thank you. There are also some questions here on TikTok.
Any relevant questions?
Yeah. So, someone was wondering, have you got a book that you're referencing to?
Yes, Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are many books. Vedas are very vast. You have 108 Upanishads, you have 18 Puranas, you have the 4 Vedas. So, but our spiritual master, he took out the essence, the most essential knowledge, Vedic knowledge, and he translated it into English and gave commentaries. So that's why we speak very nicely and confidently, because we have a nice authority backing us up. We're not making stuff up. Here, I can speak for 3 hours. If you ask me, if you want to catch me on some detail and point out the contradiction, you will not be able to do that, because I'm not making stuff up. If you're making stuff up, ultimately you're gonna contradict yourself. But if you follow the authority, you will not contradict.
Speaking of contradiction, Zayn on TikTok is asking a question: why does the book say Krishna has no needs but needs to be worshipped?
Krishna doesn't need to be worshipped. He doesn't. That's true. He has no needs. He's self-satisfied. You need to worship Krishna. He doesn't need to be worshipped. He is worshipped eternally. It's not that he needs and then he makes some worshippers. He's eternally worshipped. He doesn't need your worship, but you need to worship him. So he gives you this opportunity. He says, you give me this, give me little leaf, little flower, little fruit, little water, I shall accept. And you can worship. And by worshipping, did you ever try to worship Krishna? Why are you asking like this? You try. Why don't you try? He needs or doesn't need. That's a different thing if he needs. But what about you? Maybe you need to worship him. So you can try. Simply, you start with chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then you can take it further. You can come to the temple, see the Aratik. Ultimately, you can also perform the Aratik. But Krishna doesn't need. It's true, there is no contradiction. Krishna doesn't need. He's self-satisfied, Atmaram. You need. You have so many needs. You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to pass stool, you need to pass urine, you need to pass exams in school, you need to work, you need this. So because you have so many needs, you project, oh, God has needs like me. He's such a loser like me. I need this, I need. He doesn't need. Devotees also don't need. They don't need. Whatever they need, Krishna gives. So don't be never in this illusion that, oh, here anyone needs anything. No one needs nothing. Devotees are self-satisfied, they're perfect and complete, and Krishna is perfect and complete. And any incompleteness is any incompleteness is experienced on the basis of incomplete knowledge of the complete Krishna. So if you do not have complete knowledge of the self and of Krishna, of God, then you are in need.
Okay, there's another nice question. Mr. Black Musk is wondering, how do you purify your heart and your soul, especially in this generation?
By chanting Hare Krishna. By hearing and chanting. Chetudarpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. That means that, very nice question is, as Prabhu said, in this particular age, there is so much going on, everything so fast, so confusing, overwhelming, like that. So this chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you chant this mantra, repeat, constantly chant. And here, you join the classes, just like now you're watching. Join the class twice a day, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. If you can, come visit the devotees, come to the temple. You will feel how your consciousness is being purified. So you will have a practical experience. So for this age, this is the process. Very simple. You can do it anywhere, anytime. You're traveling, you go to work, you go to school. There is no restriction. You don't need to sit in this way or that way. You know, you just chant, vibrate, use your tongue and use your ear. Vibrate the sound and hear. And it's a closed loop. You know, you are in the heart. You're the spirit soul. You become awakened by hearing transcendental vibration. Then you ask, how do I purify my consciousness? So the spiritual master says, you chant this mantra. So as a spirit soul from within your heart, you chant Hare Krishna. The sound goes out, enters your ear, and goes back to the heart and purifies the heart. And then you chant more Hare Krishna, and again, and like that. It's an eternal cycle of purification and joy. So this is how you do it now. Chant the holy name of God. We chant Hare Krishna. If you have some other name, you can chant that. We're not sectarian. If you don't have, here, take. Okay. Mataji Krishna Prema wanted to ask.
I think we should give also priority to this lady here. She has a very nice question.
No, I see. One more question for Krishna Prema. Enough questions.
She should ask. I can ask every later.
Louis Allen on TikTok is wondering, brother, how can we bring peace and love back to this world?
You cannot. You cannot bring peace and love to the world. You can bring peace and love to your own life. You can bring peace and love to some community by preaching. But to the world you cannot, because there is never going to be a situation where everyone will be, you know, of good qualities. So that's not possible, unfortunately. We have to... that's the purpose of the material world, to be not peaceful and to be not loving. So you don't want to stay here. So you can do so much, but the world you will never repair. It's always going to be a problem. That's how it's made, by Krishna. Dukkhalayam asasvatam, temporary, full of misery. Okay. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Guru Premanande, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshna.